I have 4 children and 5 grandchildren. I made knitted clothes and hats for all of my grandchildren to wear when they came home from the maternity ward. It all started with my first grandchild and continued with each one that followed. My children asked me to do it. In my country, it is customary for the clothes to be a specific color that represents something good, such as health, peace, and protection. I do not do this professionally as I have a job, so it is something I do in my spare time. It takes months to complete because I put all my love and care into it. I do not force my children to accept the clothes, but most of them ask me to make them as soon as they announce their pregnancy. My oldest daughter, whom I will refer to as Pam, asked me to make clothes for her daughter. We later found out that she was pregnant. I happily made them for her, and she chose the color red. It was one of the most beautiful pieces I have ever made, and I finished it within 7 months of her pregnancy. She gave birth about 20 days ago, and my granddaughter was born healthy, perfect, and bright. However, as we were leaving the maternity ward, I was heartbroken to find out that my granddaughter would not be wearing the clothes I made. Instead, Pam had received expensive clothes from her in-laws, such as Gucci. I did not say anything to her, but I did vent to my son about how upset I was. I wouldn't have had any issues if she hadn't asked me to make the clothes. I did not do it to show off or make it about myself, but my son insisted on talking to me because he could tell I was feeling down. The news spread among my children, and eventually Pam heard about it from someone else who scolded her. She called me angrily, saying that she couldn't believe I was jealous of clothes, and that her daughter could wear them at any time. She accused me of making the moment about myself, instead of celebrating my granddaughter's life. I am lost and heartbroken that I spent months making something with so much love and care for a specific moment, only to find out that it wouldn't be used. My family is divided, with some criticizing me and others supporting me. Am I the one in the wrong? I stayed with Pam during her delivery, and the following 2 weeks at her request. My daughter was in pain from the C-section, and my son-in-law was taking care of the paperwork for my granddaughter. I dressed her in the clothes I made, which were neatly packaged and labeled in a baby suitcase. There was only one package for leaving the maternity ward, and it contained only clothes. I even double-checked with Pam to make sure that was the right package, and she confirmed that it was. I did not make any comments while I was there because Pam was stressed and tired, and I didn't want to add to her stress. You are the idiot. Look, you're entitled to your feelings. Your daughter is entitled to change her mind about the coming home outfit. There could be a multitude of reasons why she changed her mind that you aren't privy to. I'm sure her focus was 100% on birth recovery and the new baby, not your feelings regarding an outfit that will likely be changed 10 minutes after going home. Now she had to hear through sibling gossip about how you're upset over an outfit while she's recovering and adjusting to the baby. She's reasonably frustrated that your focus is on the outfit when there are much bigger things to worry about. I mean, it's not like she spit on the outfit and threw it away. I'm sure your grandchild will still wear it, and you can always ask for some photos in the special outfit to be framed. I disagree. OP is not the idiot. Saying there's still time to wear the outfit is missing the point. The outfit was for a specific event. If you've been asked to make a prom dress and spent hours and hours of your free time to make it only for your daughter to wear a different dress to prom, no one would say she can still wear it some other time. Similar situation here. Seriously? The in-laws bought the baby a super expensive bougie baby outfit. At the same time, Grandma spent months, over half a year, making an outfit by hand in her spare time as part of a long-running tradition for this event, specifically because her daughter asked her to. Her own daughter flips the script and chooses the money outfit that was probably bought in a store, packs it, and then asks Grandma to put the baby in it. So, Grandma's stuck dressing the baby in the outfit she didn't make and then biting her tongue because her heart is crushed because she knows this is about her daughter and not her. This whole thing feels vindictive and cruel. Considering the mom spent 7 months on that, honestly, I would have made it the topic of every dinner. because 7 months on a piece of clothing that was never worn because of some Gucci fabric? My daughter would be lucky if I didn't tell the news about this. She just expected her mom to take it on the chin and feels guilty about it after the fact because she knows deep down she did wrong. I, 35 female, and my husband, 53, have been together for 10 years, and I've always cherished my stepdaughter, 23, as my own. She doesn't see it that way. My son, nearly an adult, completely looks up to her though. My stepdaughter never warmed up to me, even though I've been in her life for nearly a decade. I've tried to keep her on the right path in life, but she refuses to even listen to me anymore. Recently, she moved back into my husband's house after finishing her degree. She said she's finalizing a lease. However, it's been 3 weeks since. It has been 3 weeks, and the situation is still being finalized. I don't mind her staying here, but her lifestyle choices have started to bother me. She works night shifts, but still chooses to eat processed food, even when I leave leftovers in the fridge from the night before. She also disrupts my and my husband's sleeping schedule when she returns from work. She immediately showers upon arriving home, waking both of us up. The biggest issue is her smoking habit. She regularly sits on the porch and smokes when she comes back from work, and my husband even joins her now. We caught her smoking when she was 15, and I tried to warn her about the risks and grounded her harshly, but nothing changed. It seems like she doesn't care about her health, as she can smoke a pack of cigarettes in just a few days. Yesterday was my breaking point when I overheard her talking to my son about her habits. She told him that if he wanted to smoke, it was his choice, and he would have to live with the consequences. I got angry at her for influencing my son, as he had never shown any interest in smoking before. She argued that she was just teaching him about choices and consequences, but then stormed off to her room, and my son refused to speak with me. She has barely spoken to me since, and my husband is now upset with me for shouting at her. My son still refuses to listen to me about her influence on his behavior. Do you really expect someone 12 years younger than you to treat you like a parental figure? You sound judgmental, controlling, and puritanical, which is ironic considering you had your son as a teenager, and the father is not your husband due to the age difference. If your son wants to smoke, it is his decision. As a parent, you can only teach your children how to make decisions. You cannot make them for them. It is fair to set boundaries and rules for an adult child living in your home. But the things you are upset about, such as her showering when she gets home, are not worth getting upset over. She is an adult and probably sees you as a woman who is barely 10 years older than her and married her father. I wouldn't respect you either. Mind your own business. Let's not forget that apparently OP's husband also goes out to smoke with her. What did I just read? So the husband smokes, and the daughter is the problem? This lady has delusions. It seems to me that OP has control issues and is trying to treat everyone, including her much older husband, her child, and her stepdaughter as children. Good luck with that, because you will become that aunt. Everyone steers clear of her. Exactly. She's 23? Oh no. She smokes out on the porch and works nights. The hell? You can't control what your husband does. If he wants to have a smoke outside with his daughter, he has every right to. Oh man, you might want to ease up on clutching those pearls before you get a hand cramp. I have a friend and we've known each other for a long time. I was never overweight, but at this point in my life, I'm the skinniest I've ever been. I'm not underweight, but you can tell that I'm pretty thin. Gaining weight has been an issue for me for a long time. My friend likes to make comments on my weight. Nothing too bad. But recently it's gotten to a point where I'm like, okay, you've said that before. She would sometimes mention that I eat like a bird and that I should have some of her food. Or when we hug, she says I feel like a plank, stuff like that. I chuckle at it and don't take it too seriously. I was having a bad day yesterday and feeling like crap. She knew this because I told her that morning I wasn't feeling too good, and she came over to my house with some takeout. I told her I couldn't really eat right now, but I really appreciated her and I could probably eat something later. She kind of snapped, saying that she spent money on this for me and I should at least eat it now, because I'm too thin. And in her own words, it looks weird to people for a skinny person like me to be friends with someone like her. I was so exhausted and angry that I said, "You're so overweight and you eat too much." She immediately got defensive and angry and said I shouldn't fat shame her. And it's different from saying that to an overweight person than telling a skinny person that they're skinny. After a back and forth argument, she called me a witch. Then she left and hasn't spoken to me since. I do feel like I was harsh with the comment, but I really would like to know if I'm the idiot or not. Not the idiot. Someone tell me, why is it socially acceptable to tell thin people, especially women, to eat more because of their size? But heaven forbid you tell overweight people to eat less because of their size. And no, standing up for yourself doesn't make you a bad person. If she has the character to berate and mock you, she also has the character to take your justified response with grace. I was a thin kid, and people making these comments practically gave me an eating disorder, especially ones where, "Oh, thank God you're eating something," is the vibe, because I then became embarrassed or afraid to eat in front of others or to try new foods. I was underweight most of my life because of this, and petrified of new foods given my sensory issues, making me afraid of even more comments that I already got. There's also a difference between shaming and trying to help. Everyone's the idiot here. She shouldn't be making skinny comments at all. Still, you also should have expressed your discomfort and set a boundary that they need to stop rather than laughing it off since they bothered you a lot. Turning around and calling her overweight isn't the solution here. As an overweight woman with a thinner best friend, I couldn't imagine either of us ever commenting on the other's body. This is not how a true friendship operates. How come the person being attacked always needs to be mature about the attacker's feelings? Apparently, only fat people can have their feelings and lives hurt by bullies. Skinny people don't get the luxury of having feelings, I guess. If this was any other subject, everyone would be commenting something to the effect of, "You're only dishing what she was doing to you. And she can't handle it." My brother has 2 daughters. The older daughter is Olivia, a teenager, and the younger one is Freya, a younger teenager. Olivia's mom chose to live in another city across the country. We could only see her about once a year. However, Freya lived next to us, and we saw her daily. Therefore, we're very close. Recently, Olivia and her mom moved to our city. I'm planning a trip to Turkey, and I asked Freya's mom if I could take her with me because she always wanted to go to Istanbul, and my kids would love having her there with us. Olivia's mom was there and asked me if I'd also take Olivia. I said no, I don't know her, and I don't feel comfortable doing that. She said that they were both my nieces, and I should love and treat them equally. I told her that I didn't love her child, and this was her fault. What else did she expect when she took her away from us, and hardly ever let us even call? Now she needs to accept that we don't love her child. She thinks I'm an idiot, and Olivia is very upset because she wants to come with us. She just came back and demanded that we give her daughter things like, "When are you going to buy an iPad for Olivia like the one you bought for Freya?" How about never? Not the idiot. You didn't say you hated or even disliked Olivia. You said you didn't love her, which is a fact. And the reason isn't that Olivia is inherently unlovable, but because you barely know her. She's almost a stranger to you. That's a reasonable position. I don't love people I don't know, no matter how closely they're related to me. Olivia is a teenager, and I'd argue that she's old enough to understand that you can't expect someone to spend a large amount of money on you. When they barely know you, why did Olivia's mom move her to another city and limit seeing her to only once a year? We're missing important information, though. Why did she move? Was it for a job, to better provide for her family, or to be closer to her own family for support after a separation? If that's the case, that's very reasonable and shouldn't be brought up during an argument like this. It was a bit of a low blow from OP. People move all the time and can still keep up with family and friends, but it takes effort from both sides. I think everyone is at fault here. Olivia's mom should understand the dynamics of their relationship and refrain from pushing for inclusion on the trip. However, Opie could have handled the situation much better instead of planning the trip in front of people who weren't invited. If I'm reading between the lines correctly, Olivia's mother left after Opie's brother got Freya's mother pregnant when Olivia was only a few months old. But if Opie admitted that, Olivia's mother might be seen as a more sympathetic character rather than the shrieking harpy Opie portrays her to be. Honestly, Opie comes off as either immature or taking her brother's side. Olivia's mom chose to live in another city across the country, yet her brother had 2 kids a year apart with 2 different women. Olivia's mom may have needed to move away, rather than choosing to do so. Even if she did choose to move, it was on Opie's brother to maintain the relationship, not his ex. My husband and I have 3 kids, one nearly an adult, one a teenager, and one a preteen, and we're taking care of my niece, who is also a preteen. A bit of backstory about my niece. We were told that her placement with us would be temporary, but now it seems like she will be headed towards adoption. We were not informed about her special needs, and we are still trying to figure out how to potty train her. She has sensory and motor issues, as well as speech delays. All of this has made us, especially my husband, unsure about whether we will adopt her or not. Our house needed some work done, which required us to stay in a hotel for 2 weeks. We decided to take this opportunity to go on a 2-week vacation. This is the first trip we have taken my niece on. Her parents do not allow us to take her out of state, and we usually use our other children's out-of-state games and competitions as our vacations. My niece was very excited about this trip, but on the second night, she developed a fever. I have been having my husband go out with the kids while I stay at the resort with my niece. We are currently on day 6, and our niece is still not feeling well. We have been taking her out a little, but she and I leave early. My husband wants to take the kids to a national park, but my niece isn't well enough for all of the walking and hiking. He wants me to come and see if the neighbor's teen daughter can babysit. We've been getting along well with the family, and the kids have gone out together, so the niece does know them. But I think the niece would be even more devastated if we all go and leave her with a babysitter. I'm also uncomfortable leaving her with someone we've only known for 6 days. He thinks I'm putting my niece above the kids, but I think that while the niece is under our care, she needs to be treated as an equal, and we wouldn't do that with one of our kids. He's saying that that's not true, but we've never done it with our kids, and I can't see him suggesting that for them. We can't agree on this, so I wanted to know if I was the idiot. Her case is headed toward adoption, but she isn't up for adoption yet. Her parents can still say we can't take her out of state. You're not behaving in a very responsible way towards your niece. Your husband, on the other hand, is not being responsible. Please sit down with him and have a long, serious conversation about adoption. You two are not on the same page. It seems like your husband is not fully on board with the situation, and that could lead to more problems in the future. Think about it this way. If you had 4 kids of your own, and the youngest was sick, would you hire a babysitter to watch the youngest, so you could go have fun with the older kids? Of course not. You're not putting your niece above your kids. You're treating her like your own child, which is what you should be doing since you are currently caring for her. It sounds like your husband may resent taking on your siblings' responsibilities when you already have 3 kids. Your niece deserves to feel equally loved and included in the family, just like your other kids. If your husband disagrees, I worry that he may not make a great adoptive parent. You're setting yourself up for potential resentment from your older kids who are used to different opportunities, and you need to find a better solution.